I'm not, but I'll keep an eye on things in case any of you in case the sound gives us further issues. Okay, tall spine. And if you're sitting in your chair, your ankles are under your knees. Knees are at a 90-degree angle. Okay, palms facing up on the thighs. And then just start to come into your body. Feel the earth under your feet, maybe socks or slippers around your feet. Wiggle the toes, spread them out wide. Work your way up. Feel your legs and your palms on top of your legs, your sit bones with the chair or seat underneath it. Feeling your breath coming in and out of your body. Let's take a couple deep breaths together. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time, letting it all go. Arriving in the present moment. Maybe going deeper, even feeling the heartbeat. Noticing the shoulders sitting squarely over the hips, the spine in one long line with the head resting on top of it. Chest and belly expanding on the inhale, contracting on the exhale. And we're going to call to our attention something that we love and brings us joy unconditionally. Maybe this is a pet or a family member, a child, whatever comes up, grabbing on to one of these items, to one of these living creatures that brings you joy, noticing the feelings that it stirs in your heart. And sending them loving kindness as we repeat the mantra, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free from pain and suffering. Holding their likeness in your mind and your heart as you repeat, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free from pain and suffering. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free from pain and suffering. Noticing what feelings arise, expanding those out as we shift our focus, allowing a neutral person to arise in the mind's eye. Perhaps somebody you regularly see, like a store clerk, the mailman, a casual acquaintance. Holding this neutral person whom you have neither strong likes or dislikes for, holding them in your mind's eye and in your heart as you send them loving kindness through these phrases. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from pain and suffering. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from pain and suffering. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from pain and suffering. And letting them go as you let rise up and bubble to the surface somebody who you have difficulty with. Maybe somebody you hold a grudge, or resentment for, somebody who communication is difficult with. Just hold them in your heart, in your mind's eye. Send them loving kindness. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from pain and suffering. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from pain and suffering. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from pain and suffering. Whatever came up, whatever emotions or sensations or feelings, just let those rise and fall. So we send them loving kindness and let their likeness dissolve in your mind's eye as you bring an image of yourself to your mind's eye. Perhaps it's you sitting in the present day where you are now, or maybe even yourself as a small child or baby, holding that image of yourself, sending loving kindness. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from pain and suffering. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from pain and suffering. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from pain and suffering. Sending yourself loving kindness and letting that fade away. Coming back to the breath, taking a slow, deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Begin to wiggle the fingers and toes, blinking the eyes open, taking in the room around you. If anything came up for you during that meditation, I'd love to hear it. You can go ahead and drop it in the chat on the Zoom or on the Instagram Live. It's always interesting on different days, and maybe it's your first time doing metta meditation, or maybe your thousandth. It's different every time. The mind's in a different place. The body's in a different place. Sometimes, uh, my students have a lot of difficulty with different parts. Sometimes finding, the mind bounces around. It doesn't want to land on a given individual, or a lot of us struggle with sending loving kindness to ourselves. It's not something that we've practiced before, perhaps, or maybe the individual who we have difficulty with, we have so much difficulty with that sending them loving kindness feels awkward and uncomfortable. But a lot of people right now are talking about the difficult space that we are in the world and in our personal lives, and that it's really hard to understand how everything can be how it is, how to deal with it, what to do with it. And metta meditation is a wonderful place to start. So when you practice meditation, kind of in particular, this meditation really like exercises your gratitude muscle. And when you have gratitude and compassion for others, or when you're able to have that more, it's something that's a journey, it's not a destination, but when you're able to have that more, then um, you're able to attend to the events of your day and of society with more space and a bit more clarity. So I hope that you find that helpful and that you find the same. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And now we're going to move to the interview with Jenna. So this is just going to be, I am so excited to share it with y'all because she is one of my favorite humans for so many reasons. She is one of those people when you're around them, you feel inspired to be a better person, right? A gentler person, a more kind person who listens more. That's why I wanted to do a metta meditation because it seemed so appropriate for this interview with Jenna. And it looks like I'm sharing my screen on the oh, I gotta share my audio too. So bear with me for 1 second while I share advanced sharing options. Do-do-do. Working on the sharing. Sharing is caring. Share the sound. There we go. Da, da, da. But I'd love to hear about your journey. Like, when did you start learning about, like, what was your relationship with food growing up? And, like, how has
Mm.
it evolved to, like, where you are now? Like, were you always thinking intentionally about, like, what you're putting in your mouth? Or has that kind of, like, been a newer thing for you?
When I really look back at it, a part of my journey that's really important to note is that I lost my father when I was a baby. And so that put my mom in a widowed position at a really young age and with a
Oh,
baby. She was 27
mama.
at the time.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like being a single parent who's also grieving and all this, like there's we're here to talk to the mamas and to the stressed
Yeah.
out. It's a lot, and I don't think she knew so much. My grandmother wasn't much of a cook herself, so she shared what she knew, but it was a lot of processed food and a lot of kid cuisine when I
Mm-hmm.
was young. And but my father's side of the family, my grandmother and my aunts, they have Polish and Russian roots and always were cooking. And so I was around it when I was with my grandmother,
Mm.
my other grandmother, and my aunts. And they were really big on going to the farms. I grew up in rural
Mm.
Pennsylvania where there's just tons of farms and
Yeah, it's
farmers markets and farm stands. So
mm-hmm.
we definitely did. And my mom always loved going to the farm. We spent a lot of time in Lancaster with the Amish.
Oh,
And
cool.
so while maybe in my direct home, that wasn't so present, it was all around me with my other
Mm-hmm.
family members. And there was definitely a lot of influence on it. But for my personal self, going through, it was a lot of processed food. But I will say when I also look back, my mom was remarried and
Mm.
the family that she remarried into, they were very much into like hunting and they would use a lot from the land. We had watercress in our backyard and they would make
Mm.
dandelion wine and
Oh, cool.
yeah. So that was very much a part of my journey. And when I was in college, it was a lot of microwaved and yeah, a lot
Mm.
of minute rice and ramen noodles. But
Yep.
I got sick with Lyme's disease in
Mm.
2011,
Hmm.
and that is what started my
That was
journey.
around when I got diagnosed with eosinophilic esophagitis. So yeah, we have more parallels than we were even
Yeah.
aware of. Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't know right away that changing my diet could help me with Lyme.
Yeah, I don't think
I
most people are aware of that with Lyme
yeah,
disease. They go on like steroids and like immune suppress, I
yes.
think, right? Immune
Yep.
suppressants
So
typically,
I
yeah.
was put on like a doxycycline for some
Mm.
time and yeah, I spent multiple years just uh not well in other many ways. Like a lot of brain fog and
Hmm.
mental health things coming up and I ended up leaving college and upon leaving college had a few different jobs and one of them ended up being a waitress at a farm to table restaurant
Oh,
and
coincidence? I think not.
I know I really liked one of their sandwiches and I was actually on my lunch break as a preschool teacher and
Hmm.
went in to get lunch and they were really busy and I said, "Do you guys need help?" And they hired me as a hostess where I
Nice.
later went on to be a server. But yeah, I was waiting a table of this couple that would always come in and order the same thing. And one day I just asked them what's up with their order, just conversationally. And they said, we're healing Lyme's disease. And, I was like, what?
Like,
What
whoa.
does that have? What is food? What's the connection here? And
Yeah.
yeah, they shared with me their doctor, and he basically put me on like a anti-inflammatory diet. No
Hmm.
sugar, no gluten. Yeah.
Was it one with like no
Oh,
tomatoes or potatoes and stuff too? Was it that
that
strict?
wasn't so important. So it's
Okay.
mostly the sugar that we were focusing on.
Mm.
Sugar feeds Lyme. And
Okay.
so I, immediately was like, oh, okay, I won't eat dessert. To me at that point, that's what sugar was the
Right.
sweets. And then went on to start reading labels, finding what had sugar in it, starting to be in awe of how much
Everything.
sugar I was consuming. And
Ketchup.
then,
Ketchup's like a big culprit for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. And then I started reading ingredients and then did the thing where I started watching Netflix documentaries and went down the
Oh
whole
yeah.
food portal. And that's when I decided I just want to make this stuff for myself. Like
Hmm.
I want to learn how to make ketchup, and
Yeah.
feel really excited about it. So it's been quite a journey of learning. I would say in 2020 when everything shut down, I just got really into it, like a hobby,
Hmm.
and just kind of
What were
took off
you
from
doing
there.
for your profession at that time?
I was a server and a bartender.
Okay. Okay.
hmm And I was
You're
pretty
still
sure
in
that
the
was going to be
restaurant
my whole life
industry.
path. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I will say I learned a lot because I really liked working for farm to table restaurants. I
Hmm.
definitely always had a passion now that I think of it because I really wanted to sell food I believed in. And I didn't want to be a waitress at a restaurant that I didn't believe in what I was selling.
Hmm.
And the food that we would serve at these farm to table restaurants was just so creative and exquisite. And I
Mm.
loved seeing the farmers come in and drop off the food. So I
Yeah.
would say I was getting very inspired and learning a lot by what they would serve and the
So
menus that they would
can
have.
you explain? for maybe someone who doesn't know what farm to table means?
Mhm. So these restaurants will source their ingredients mostly from farms.
Do they
You
have to
know,
be local?
um, generally that is the case as
Okay.
far as the ones that I've worked at. I don't
Hmm.
know by definition. But yeah, I would say, you wouldn't want to like have a farm to table restaurant that the farm is states away. Because
Right.
the point is to support farms in the area and also not have
Mm,
ingredients that travel so far.
mm,
And of course, there are things that just have to be ordered that don't come from around the area, but for the most part, the
hmm.
ingredients are coming from local farms.
Right, that was my understanding, and I also thought that um, one of the benefits of farm to table is because you're typically sourcing local, that means that you are eating with the seasons, and there's been like some research, scientific research that's slowly coming out showing that there may be benefits like health-wise to eating seasonally.
Hmm.
Um, and then versus getting something from the southern hemisphere, that's like out of season.
Yes. Yeah, eating with the seasons is something that it has really shown up in so many ways. I
Mm.
since have studied Ayurveda, which is a sister science of yoga, and we really
Mm-hmm.
look at eating with the seasons, knowing that we have our own internal seasons. We go through a
Mm.
spring, summer, winter, fall within ourselves, and the way we eat helps support that shedding, that growing, that detoxing within ourselves.
Mm.
And our bodies, are regenerating, our cells are regenerating. And when you really start to look and study these foods that come around at different times, they are supporting our own internal detoxes, or the spring and the fall are the most important time. And when you look at the seasons around us, the earth is detoxing too at those times.
Mm.
They're falling away leaves, or the spring, there's like tons of rain, and we're kind of moving away from last year and getting ready for new seeds.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, what's available at those times are really helpful for us to support that.
Yeah.
Um, and then, the winter, we're eating hearty soups and we're bulking up, and,
Yeah, like
whatever's in the freezer.
potatoes,
Yeah.
things that we've stored. Yeah.
And then in the summer, we're so abundant. We have so much. And, fall time, we're getting more into, yeah, starting to get into the soups and the stews and the heartier squashes and things like that. So, yeah, it can be really amazing to watch nature and watch our inner nature. And that's something that if you have the same grocery list every week and you go to the grocery store, you might not necessarily tend to.
You were talking about 2020 and you started to get into cooking. Is that also when you found Ayurveda, or was that earlier?
I can't say when I
Mm.
actually found Ayurveda for the first time, but I took my first course in Ayurveda in February 2021.
Okay.
So it was likely around that time
Yeah, it was
that
around the
I
same
was
time. And can
starting to
you
find out.
explain to those who've never heard of Ayurveda what it is? You mentioned earlier that it's like a branch of yoga.
Hmm.
Like, could you go a little deeper in what it
Sure,
has to do with food?
sure. To me, what Ayurveda is looking at the energetics of what you consume, and that does include food. That also includes,
Hmm.
things like what kind of conversations you're having, what you're taking in, kind of all of what you are consuming.
Hmm.
It especially looks at our how we're digesting those things.
Hmm.
And yeah, to me, it is. it is the science of life and yeah, how we consume and how we digest it.
Hmm.
Um, it's broken down into looking at three doshas. Um, and those are all made up of different elements. So there's pitta, which is fire and water, vata, which is air and ether, and kapha, which is earth and water. And we can see those elements all within ourselves. And what we're trying to do is just maintain balance. So if you
Mm.
have too much heat in your body, you're calling in cooling and grounding, just continually trying to keep it in
Okay.
balance. And yeah, that's
I think
brief
that's a good
little definition.
summary.
For me
Yeah, I
to
learned
give
about
it to
it in
you.
my yoga teacher training as well. And one
Hmm.
thing we learned to do was to kind of like assess ourselves and see which type we were, if we were a combination of these three types. It's both like your body as well as like your personality style. And your like energetics, like you're saying. And then
Hmm.
depending on the type that you are, there's different types of food you would eat, different herbs you could take to supplement, and different like physical practices, asanas and meditations you could do to help balance you, right?
Essentially, that's what it is. It's just continually maintaining balance. And I think sometimes in our society, we think that having an unlimited amount of something is our goal, is to
Mhm.
just be in like overabundance, in a way. And
Yeah.
Ayurveda really looks at like just keeping yourself in balance is actually the real freedom. I think for me, that's like one of the biggest part of Ayurvedic cooking is just your presence and where your energy is while you're cooking.
Hmm. I didn't realize that. That's beautiful.
Mhm. And I
Makes
think
sense,
that
like of course. I just, yeah,
yeah,
hadn't thought about
and I
it.
really trust in the divine when I'm curating these things. And the more in alignment that I am, sometimes I get these 2 degree shifts where, like, I don't know, there's a crazy sale on something that I never expected. And now I'm like, wait, I think we need this. This is abundance for us.
Yeah.
Or I go to the farmer's market and yeah, the first year I was cooking, I would just go and say, what do you have too much of? Because that's what my mom would always do. She'd always ask
Yeah.
the farmer what they have a lot of because it would always be cheaper. And like the first year I was cooking, it was always eggplant. And like I just had so much eggplant all the time. And I would have never planned for that. But so I also like to see what the earth is providing for us
Mm.
and and sometimes in our world, it is a modern day of like, well, the earth is providing a lot of things that are on sale at Whole Foods right now. And
Yeah.
I'm going to look at that because
Yeah.
that helps us have more, that helps us work inside of a budget.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Ayurvedic cooking, it is a lot about the spices that you're using,
Mm.
and calling in those, noticing um, the intention of the retreat. All retreats have different intentions,
For
and
sure.
depending on what kind of work we're doing, looking at what kind of spices, what kind of foods we're consuming. Um, and yeah, just continuing to feed into that intention of whatever all these people have gathered for.
That's beautiful. I,
Yeah.
I know you've been working a lot in the retreat space this year, and I'd love to hear about where you are planning to expand, next year in the coming years. Like, you want to talk more about, what you're calling in, and if anybody, like, if what you're saying resonates with anybody, how they can work with you,
Mm,
other than coming to our
absolutely.
retreats.
Yeah, please come to our retreats. I'm so excited to see what
Yeah.
magic unfolds for us. So, outside of those two magical spaces, in the future, what I'm doing right now is I have kind of built a team. There
Mm.
are at least 5 women that I'm working closely with that share my heart, that have their own flair, but have share the same passions and cook very similar
Mhm.
to me. And so they will most likely be taking on more of the retreat stuff because they're excited about it. And
Nice.
I am looking forward to creating more dining experiences. On the
Mhm.
18th of August, am hosting the second one. We did one for Cancer season, which we called a celestial supper, where we did a
Mhm.
4-course dinner. Um, all moon themed foods. We learned about Cancer season, which is ruled by the moon. Everybody wore white. It was a super celestial dinner. We
How
had
fun.
crab cakes, of course, because it's Cancer
Yeah.
crab season. And,
Where was it?
this was in North Boulder,
Okay.
at a place called Silver Mesa Farm. And then we're doing a second one for Leo season, which is sun. Ruled by the
Fun.
sun, we're going to do cacao, ecstatic dance, and then brunch on a Sunday morning.
Amazing.
And then from
That's
there,
coming
we'll
up
go
soon, right?
soon. And then from there, we'll continue to go through the celestial bodies and all of the astrological signs
Oh,
and the
cool.
foods that are ruled by those um, different planet bodies. So I'm calling in more things like that. The
Mm-hmm.
astrology was a really cool way to collaborate with some dear sisters that are astrologers and herbalists. And yeah, I would just like to have more events where we're connecting with food and each other. And I love themes. So anything with
Yeah,
a
me
good
too. I'm
theme.
like, oh, that sounds awesome. I want to go to that.
Yeah. But that's the seed that I'm planting, is that we have more dinner
Yeah.
experiences, that I am going to more farms and actually
Mm-hmm.
connecting people to the farm, to the farmer. I did a 4-course dinner that was really special back in Pennsylvania this year, and it was
Yeah,
on
back home.
Pennsylvania's oldest maple farm. So we did a 4-course
Wow.
maple dinner.
Oh,
And yeah, that really
that's so
inspired me to
fun.
realize that's where I'm at, but also having more courses. I would like to be able to just sit down and hear what people want to learn and
Mm-hmm.
what's feeling challenging, what's feeling exciting, and how I can help support those journeys.
And I think I
My
saw in your newsletter you have a course coming up. Is that correct?
Yes, wisdom
Okay.
and wonder. And so that
Ooh,
course
love the name.
specifically is to help us understand that we all have our own innate journey with food. And my exact journey would not necessarily work for a lot of people, but
Mm.
how can we turn back to our inner wisdom, our intuition, and to know, wow, I'm feeling really called to this herb. I think I need to work with it. And then finding out what that herb does. For me, it's been amazing to walk into places like Rebecca's apothecary and be like, I don't know, there's something on the shelf that is kind of screaming at me. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
it, but finding out what it does is like, there is an intuitive aspect to this, that we need time to sit down and be with our intuition, to even
Mm-hmm.
be able to hear it and to trust it. So that course is to
Yeah.
help everyone tap into their intuition and learn about themselves, their own journey, just like you started out. Like, what was your food story? What
Yeah.
inspired you? What were your ancestors eating? To
Mm-hmm.
kind of food map for everyone what their journey looks like.
Is there anything we haven't spoken to yet that you would love want to share?
Mhm. Well, I think just one last message that feels good to share, especially for um, mamas who might be listening to this and who have felt overworked. And I've really been inspired to do this work, probably to bring it back to my own mother, who now,
Mm,
I've surpassed her age that she was, being a single widowed mama.
mm-hmm.
And I just admire so much the work that goes unseen, and sometimes these expectations that are placed upon mamas, to hold it all, to give
Yeah.
their babies top-notch nourishment, and also themselves and their work. And, like you said, you hold a large role in your work. And it's possible when we do it together. And I hope that through some of my work, I can reach these places. And I'm really excited about inspiring the future youth to
Oh,
know
I love
that
it.
we can also take more responsibility as teenagers, as, even young
Mm-hmm.
adults, to learn about food and to feed ourselves and to even feed our families. Be the ones cooking dinner at 13, 14 years old. And
Yeah, absolutely. And
I'm
kids
ex
love it. Like I have an
yeah.
8-year-old and a 3-year-old, and like they both, when I invite them to the kitchen, like, not every time, but a lot of the time they really love it, like cutting up the mushrooms and cutting up the peppers. And when my daughter does it, then my son, who's 3, he's like, then he wants to do it. And it's like quality time together, but it's also like I just think it's really beautiful to like bring kids into the kitchen and like to show them that they have an important role in the family and nourishing the family. Um, it's a lot of fun and it just like feels good. Do I do it every day? No, I don't do it every day. Like but when I do invite it in, I'm always, I'm generally glad I do. And sometimes they don't want to, and so it's
Mhm,
like try not to push it.
mhm,
Um, so it can look like that. I guess I want to offer that to moms who feel like they have to do, you know, it all. It's like, no, you can
mhm,
just have moments where you kind of explore what it could look like and,
mhm,
it can
mhm.
evolve.
And we can together start to reframe that. And it can be hard in the era of fast food and convenience to slow down and have an intentionally made meal. But like you said, it really does bring together a family dynamic in a way that it maybe is being a little lost. But I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that some of the
totally.
most special times are shared around a table of a meal that everybody cooked together. And I
Mm-hmm.
just hope to inspire that more. And yeah, hope to be a support for mamas out there, and just a bridge between farms and families, and just the beauty that is curated, from a special meal. And, that can
Right.
have a ripple effect for a whole week, if you have one good meal with your family. So,
Absolutely, for sure. And so if somebody's looking to find you, how would that be, what would be the best way for somebody to find you?
my Instagram is called Whimsical Wellness. That's my business name.
Mm-hmm.
And my website is up. It is not the most up to date, but it is there, and you can find out about me and about the work I do.
Mm-hmm.
And that is called wellandwhimsical.com.
Okay.
And that has a way that you can find my email. And yeah, I would love to be in touch with anyone who wants to do one-on-one work, or anyone who's interested in learning cooking for themselves in the retreat world or as a private way. I know I'm becoming a teacher for that too. So
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me
mhm,
today and share with everybody.
thank you so much.
Let's fix that. How about now? Yeah. Okay, try again.
Okay.
Yay!
Yay.
How are you?
I'm well. Yeah, just having a slow morning, enjoying some sunshine. It was good to hear that video and recap what we chatted about a few months
I
back.
know. It was like 5 months ago or something, I think, when we had that interview. So it's fun to see how, and even in that short amount of time, things have evolved and we've been able to deepen our partnership. We've got coming up, well, we did our first retreat together,
Mhm.
which I had so much fun. It was amazing. The food was great. We had it was in Santa Fe, and so we did. Jenna took the journey with me. I was like, I really want to do like New Mexican cuisine, and so we had like vegan enchiladas, and I had atole. How do you say it? For the first
Mhm.
time.
Uh-huh.
So good. I loved it. I was like, what is this? I want to eat this
Mhm.
now. It was fun. I had a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
we've got another retreat added for this year. So we're going to be doing, in May, we'll be going to Crete together. And there's still one more spot left for that retreat. And then we'll be doing another international retreat in November. We're going to Australia and to the Sunshine Coast. And then it just started to announce, but not officially, that we'll be doing a retreat up in Netherlands, an all women's retreat, a yoga summer camp at the end of June.
Mm.
It's gonna be fun. What else do you have going on this year besides the work that we're doing together?
Mm. Yeah, I have some neat things that are coming up. This Friday, actually, I'll be doing an event in collaboration with Joy's Kitchen, who is
Mm-hmm.
their food rescue mission in Denver,
Oh,
and
nice.
really incredible spreading food and joy. So Friday night we'll be at the Avalon Ballroom, and they're having an artist called Tubby Love.
Oh my
So
goodness, I love it.
yeah, it's his first time in Colorado, so I'll be cooking the food from Joy's all rescued food and serving at that event. And yeah, it seems like the music industry is coming forward this year. I just
Fun.
said yes to a retreat of music producers in Keystone, Colorado. So I guess last year when they gathered, they produced 100 songs in their week of retreating. So that
Oh.
will be a new journey. And I'm about to head out to Hawaii for a few weeks to cook for Inohia Lehua plant dieta, and that is um the state flower of Hawaii, an incredible, beautiful story of beloved sacred union, and they'll be spending time with that plant in Hawaii while I'm chefing for them on the Big Island. So I'm looking forward to our international travel and all the things that we've weaved this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be a banner year for travel for
Yeah.
sure. And if anyone wants to come party with us, come relax, enjoy. Yeah, we're you know, it's gonna be a blast. So, thank you for the opportunity to work together. And I guess like watching that video, we just have a couple more minutes. So I'm watching the video from our recording. Was there anything that and I know you weren't able to be on the whole time, but is there anything that kind of uh you want to expand on or comment on?
Mm, I guess something that, like, as you're asking me, that maybe could be helpful and, just to build upon since then, I feel like there has been this new movement. I think it's been coming for a while, but it seems like recently, like, there's the movement of Make America Healthy Again, and we're talking about
Mm,
red dye in food and talking more about yeah, what ingredients are in food. And I just noticed that it's becoming more present in news and in people's lives. And
hmm
I think that's incredible. And yeah, just going back to local is just the best way that I can share, or what I think is the best way to really know what's in your food and know that it's made with love. And we're here in February, so we're halfway to spring already. And just yeah, getting the plans for the spring, and when the farmers markets are popping up, and even starting to have the conversations with local farmers. It seems like eggs are a big deal right now too.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah,
that puts everybody back into like food and what's going on with food. And
yeah.
I always notice when, the masses are coming to food and being like, it could be something as simple as like eggs not being present. And all of a sudden we're all talking about food again and it's a hot
Yeah.
topic. So yeah, I think just as much as we can go local, and here in Colorado, specifically where we are in the Boulder area, there's 36 farms in Boulder, and it could be a good time just to start to see when the farmers market's going to be starting and see what farmers have going on. And yeah, they always appreciate us. And, I think somebody asked me in the grocery store what was going on with the eggs recently, and I was like, I have no idea. Like, I'm not the expert who can tell you when or what's going on. I'm just eating a lot of oatmeal and amaranth. I actually made salmon for breakfast this morning.
Ooh, yum.
Um, but yeah, I just think always talking to our local farmers, but especially when, these things are going on in the world, and maybe for some people it can cause stress or anxiety or anything like that. And
hmm
my advice is, yeah, just go local and chat with your farmers as much as you can. We can't shop everything there, of course, but it just always seems like the best place to start. So,
Yeah, okay. When you're saying that with I'm thinking I want to talk to some of our local farmers for a podcast. So I'm gonna pick
lots of them, so let
I
me know.
know. So I'm gonna pick your brain later today.
Really
We'll be
incredible
talking later
wine.
again today. So I'll pick your brain about who could be a good fit. But that would be really fun because I think like a lot of people would be curious about what it actually looks like in the day to day, especially if it's not a factory farm, right? If it's like a local organic.
Totally.
Yeah.
And once you understand that, I feel like, the price difference, of course, that usually seems to be when I ask people why they aren't buying local or whatever,
hmm
it is a little bit of a price difference. But I think after you talk to a farmer, maybe you're like,
Yeah.
oh, it makes sense you sell your kale for $4 because
Yeah,
it's
totally.
a lot of work to grow that kale.
It is. I was. also thinking about how it's like garden planting season right now. So my friend had I went over to her house and she's got all her seeds out and we were talking about our gardens and as like last year totally neglected mine. We moved into the house in May and it was just kind of like low on the priority, but this year I'm like I'm ready to go big. And so I'm getting excited and this is the time of year where you start, vision boarding your
Yes,
garden almost. So I'm
exactly.
getting excited for it, and maybe that would be something fun to talk about with our audience as well, because we also have chickens and we're thinking about getting some more chickens. And with the egg thing, it's like, okay, we really do need to get some more chickens because they don't keep up with us. Because we only have three right now, but
Mm.
and they're a little bit older. But between that and the garden, it's kind of almost reminding me of COVID when it was like, oh, I need to get some food security. But
Yeah,
also it's really fun. So
it
yeah.
is fun. And then you are more self-sufficient. So when things do inevitably happen in the supply chain, you
Yeah.
can stay on your consistency
Yeah.
and it's so fun.
Yeah,
So
and I'm gonna try to get Courtney. She'll be on one of these midday recharges. I think she's next week on Monday, and I'm gonna try to get her out here this spring and teach me how to take care of bees.
yeah, yeah.
So lots of fun stuff in the works. We're at the hour, so it's time to hop off. But I really appreciate your time today, Jenna,
Yeah.
and for sharing with the audience. And we'll post this up on YouTube for people to watch later at their leisure.
Thank you so much,
Take
Sia.
care, sweetie.
Take
Bye.
care. See you soon.